Welcome to Bandit's Keep Actual Play. I'm Daniel. Today we are continuing my original Dungeons & Dragons solo campaign using original Dungeons & Dragons, of course, but today mostly outdoor survival. The group, the Foxes, has had a pretty successful dungeon crawl and they're heading home. Okay, we're back out on the outdoor survival map. So I'm going to work out a couple of things. Number one, they had most of them captured, but remember those 5 did run away. So they may have assembled the other 25 orcs, meaning that 30 orcs could be right on the heels of the party. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so the party needs to pull off 1 evasion to be 100% sure to basically get off this hex. If they can pull off the evasion, they're off the hex. Now, they've got about 11 days rations left, which hopefully will get them home. They're trying to get up to here. So let's hope for the best for the Foxes and let's do one step at a time. They are a party of 8. So that's 4 to 9. The force that is chasing them is 25% or less of possible. Because, well, actually, the possible is 85 in this case, because that's how big the group was. Well, I'll base it possible on how many orcs there are total. So that seems like the fair way to do it. Now, because they are in the woods, they get plus 25%. So basically, it goes from 30% to 55. Their move is 6 at this point because they are fully encumbered. The orcs' move is 9, so nobody's twice as fast or anything like that. But if a creature is faster than them, then they might follow. And they are faster, they're just not twice as fast. That's something I think I've been doing a little bit off. It's if they're faster at all, then they follow. So, a couple things I forgot to mention. I said they're fully encumbered, but I added it all up, and believe it or not, they can actually carry their friend. They're good to go. That's the advantage of having 3 magic users who are carrying next to nothing. And also, this group started off with very little gear. So a lot of them just had like their armor and a backpack. So they've got all this gold. They've got it piled up. They're carrying bags of it. And they're trying to just like run. 2 of the characters probably, if you think about how it would work, 2 of them are probably have their friend in a sling or something, and they're kind of carrying them between them. And I think from that point, we should be good. So because, again, they're in a rush, it's not a life or death situation as far as, like, right now they're not in the middle of combat. Nobody's, like, stripping the cleric of their armor or anything like that. We're just going to take them. They can carry them with the weight that they have. So, number 1, I'm going to say that if possible, the orcs are going to try to follow. So, can they evade the orcs? They got a 55% chance of evasion. If so, they're good to go. I saw a 0-0 there, and I was like, oh, definitely. And then I saw that's also a 0. No, they cannot evade the orcs. They come out, they start moving, they hear the orcs right on their trail. That means they must move one of their movement in a random direction. 6. Okay, 6 is not the direction they want to go, but they go this way. And unfortunately, because they only have 3 move because they are on foot and on horses or anything, that 1-2 is all they can move. They have like an extra movement point, if you will. I'll put that right there to next to them to keep track of it. For the next turn, which means they can go through the water if they want. But at this point, the orcs might follow. There is a 50% chance, so 1 through 3, the orcs do actually follow them basically out of their lair, and there'll be another day of chase. They do not. Okay. So basically, 1 day goes by, and the orcs chase them 5-6 miles. Eventually, they kind of give up. They realize that maybe whatever party, was able to take out that many orcs in the lair. They hear about the magic, the battle lust, if you will, is down, and they're thinking to themselves, maybe this isn't a good idea to chase these guys, so they back off. But they lose half their movement because they were being chased, because they had spent half a day resting, and what that ends up meaning is that all they have left is, well, 1.5, but they have 1 saved up for the day before, so they have 2, which means they can move 1 hex, and they're going to move this way. Now, I'm going to check to see... Oh, hold on. But before they do that, I'm going to check to see if they get lost. And they're in the woods, so they do get lost on a 1 or 2. Yes, they're lost. Okay. So they actually have to move 1 hex in a random direction. 2. Oh, actually, they moved in the direction they want to go. So that's perfect. So they use all their movement to go here. And we're going to roll now for an encounter. There is an encounter on a 5 or a 6. 1. No encounter. Okay, so 2 days have gone by. They have 9 days rations left. and they move into the next day. Again, they're still in the woods, so let's roll to see if they get lost. They do not. They will go 1, 2, 3, because that's all the movement they have. With that, we roll for a random encounter. They're in the clear. It will only happen on a 6. No. Day 3 is passed. Okay, this is a bridge. That's where they're going to try to go, but let's see if they get lost first. In the clear, they're only lost on a 1. 3, they're not lost. 1, 2, they're not going to stop for food because they're hoping for the best. Oh, I'm sorry, it's only 1. 1, 2, 3, that's all they got. Man, it's not very nice to not have a horse, right? That's day 4. Let's roll for an encounter. This is an encounter on a 6. No encounter. Next day, let's roll to see if they get lost. They do not. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Another day goes by. That's day 5, which means they can only move 6 days and they have to rest. They're going to go one more day, which is perfect because they want to rest with there. But let's just see if they have an encounter. 1. No encounter. That's funny. I rolled a 6 and then a 1. If I had rolled a 1 then a 6, that would have been bad for them. Okay, so the mountain trails actually cost 2. And again, they only have 3 movements. So 1, 2, and they have to stop. But whenever you stop in a hex that has food, as long as you're not driven off of it, they'll be able to do a little hunting. But let's first see if... Oh, hold on. Let me see if they get lost first. They do not. Okay, so let me do that. So again, they're in that, as long as they don't get run off, but they are I count the trails as river as far as having an encounter. So encounter on a 5 or 6. No encounter, which means they will get to... That's day 6. They're going to hunt. They get 8 rations, which is basically 1 day. So that just kind of makes up for their day that they have to sit there. And I have to roll for a random monster today, and I can roll again for the hunting. Ooh, they do have an encounter. So before I roll for the hunting, I'm going to see if... well, actually, the encounter happens at night, so they would have hunted during the day. 8 more, so 1 more day ration. Okay, that's good. And what we're going to do now is... That means they have... Okay, 13 total days they can travel. They're going to run out of rations before the end of this. There is an encounter. So now we're in the mountains. Let's see what it is. Again, I roll on the river for the chance because I figure less chance on a path, but I roll on the actual mountains for the encounter. Roll D8. I got a 7. That is dragon. Okay. That doesn't mean it's actually a dragon. It means it's a dragon type. There's a dragon type over here. We're going to roll. 9. Wyvern. Okay. Wyverns are no good. Okay, so there's a wyvern here. Man, could they get all this treasure and then die on the way home? Could. So wyverns are interesting. There's from 1 to 6 appearing. So let's roll that first because that's kind of very relevant here. We're hoping for a high number here. 5. Yes. Okay, good. That is good. Because their speed is 24 because they're flyers. Now, there's a 60% chance they're in their lair. So let's do that first. 62. This is not their lair. They're traveling. So that kind of stinks because a lair is always nice. So what we need to know now is what our chances are, again, of evading them. If we look at our chart, again, we are 4 to 9 in party. There's over 60% of possible, which gives us a 70% chance of evading. They are twice as fast as us, though. So that's subtracted by 25. So basically, we have a 45% chance to evade them. Let's hope that we do. Oh my God. I just rolled 100 again on the evasion roll. Okay, we don't evade them. This is not good. You know, let me just do something over here because we might run out of food. Okay, I'm keeping the kind of the food separately because we have to stop for a day. Okay, so this is actually now this is day 8 basically. We had an encounter. We have to move once randomly. 1 straight up. So into the mountain. Okay. They are twice as fast as us. So on a 1 through 3, they follow us. They do. So we must try to evade them again. Again, 45%. Nope, 52. Okay. I'm marking off the food and stuff. Okay, so we got to move in a random direction. 1. Okay. And then we need to roll to see if they follow us. 1 through 3. 4, they don't. Okay, so they don't follow us this day. However, we have spent 2 days traveling, which means that we must rest half a day. Evading. We have to rest half a day per day that we evade. So basically, we must now just spend the whole day here. And when we do, we make 2 monster checks. And there's a monster on a 4 through 6. So if either one of these is 4 through 6, there's an encounter. Oh, yes. Okay. Thankfully, it was not. Whew. That day ends. We rest the entire day. We only have 4 days rations left. So we're going to need to get to that food source. I think that's the only thing we can do. If we don't get enough food, basically we have to start making rolls to see if we lose movement. I could move down to that other fat ration, but I think I'm better off trying to get to the first one, the one up at the top. I'm going to try to get up here. So let's just see what happens. We're in the mountains. Unfortunately, it's easier to get lost in the mountains. On a 1 or a 2, we are lost. 3, we're not. Okay. We will use our entire movement to move 1 hex to this path. On the path, there's an encounter on a 5 or a 6. 6. Okay, there's an encounter. Let's see what it is. Let me mark off this day. D8 to see what it is. It's probably those orcs all mad. 5. Okay, in the mountains, animals. Well, that makes sense, I suppose. All right, we got some animals in the mountain. They're typically giant animals. Is it optional mountains? Yes, optional mountains. Here we go. Oh, actually, these ones might be, yeah, these are just regular size animals. So 12, because these are big ones. A D12, I should say. 8. Cave bears. Well then. All right, so there's cave bears. We're going to roll to see how many. Again, OD&D, if you haven't seen this before, doesn't really give you like a lot of specs on the animals. You just kind of go for it. But I always say animals are basically, they're never twice as, well, anything flying is twice as fast as us, but an animal on foot is basically the same speed as us. It's a large animal, so there's from 2 to 16 of them. Again, we want a big number here. 2, that's not good. And 5 is 7, so that's a little bit less than half. So 26 to 60%. We have a 50% chance of evading it. Let's hope for the best. That is a 36. Okay, so we evade the bear. So when you encounter something and you evade it, effectively nothing happens. Oh, yeah, and it's never their lair for animals like that, so we're not too worried about that. Okay, next day. We only have 3 days of rations left. Let's hope that we don't get lost again. Okay, so we're on a path. We can only be lost on a 1, and we're lost. Okay, we're lost. Moving in a random direction. 4, which is straight down, which actually leaves us on the path, so that's actually better than not. And unfortunately, you only have to move 1 hex, but the path costs 2. We only have 3 total, so basically we have 1 extra movement point, if you will. Let's see if there's an encounter on a 5 or a 6. No. Okay. Okay, now we only have 2 days rations left. It's been 11 days. That's the 2 days that we got from the extra food. Okay, we actually cannot make it to that other food, so we're going to have to reverse back and get some food. Otherwise, it's going to really mess us up. This is very much less than ideal here. But it is what it is, so we're just going to go for it. We're going to need a lot of rations to get us home. Oh, you know what? I didn't multiply those rations by 2, so there should actually be 2 more days. Even still, 4 days. Yeah, we might make it. Okay, here we go. Are we lost? No. Can we move 1 today? And then we'll be able to move 2 tomorrow. Oh no, we had that extra movement point. We can move 2 today and then 1 tomorrow. Let's see if there's an encounter on a 5 or a 6. There is. 6 is an encounter. Let's see what it is. 6. You don't want flyers because they're fast and that always gets it. And I believe 6 could be... Oh, it's giant. Okay, so when it says giant, it means giant type. So we're going to roll on the giant type table, which is a D12. 5. is gnolls. Okay. So for gnolls, those gnolls up in the mountains, there is from 20 to 200 of them. And there's a 30% chances it's their lair. So first I'm going to roll to see if it's their lair. Nope. So 20 to 200 is a D10 times. Okay, that's 140 of them. And it's not their lair, which means, again, we fall into that larger situation where it's more than 60%. So over 60% gives us a 70% chance to evade them. They're not faster than us, though. So we got a 70% chance to evade them. And we rolled an 83, so we do not evade them. Okay, so we must move 1 in a random direction, 2 right up into the mountains. Fantastic. Okay. They are not... Are they faster than us? Yes. Okay, they're faster than us. So there's 1 and 3 they follow. 1 through 3 they follow. They do not. Okay. All right, another day goes by. We have 3 days rations left. Are we going to get to that food? I think we might be able to if we're lucky. All right, here we go. We had no more extra movement points or anything. We used up 3 movement to go in the mountains, so we're basically where we are. Let's see. We're in the mountains. Do we get lost? 2. I believe we do. Yes. 5 is the direction we move, which is basically... That would be there, so there. Basically back where we were. Okay. Move back to the path. Encounter on a 5 or a 6. No encounter. Okay, good. Next day, do we get lost on the path? We do. Hold on, did I not roll an encounter there? That would have been the encounter, not if we're lost. So we're on the path. Is there an encounter? No. Okay. All right, so now we're next day. Are we lost? Trying to go too fast here. 6 on a river means we're not lost. Yeah, we can only move 1 hex, but then we have 1 extra movement point. I think we actually need to rest again today, basically, after we move, because that's another 5. Hold on, that's 7. 1, 2. No, we got 2. We got 1 more day. If we don't have to get run off here, we should be good. There is an encounter, of course, after I just said that. Let's see what it is. 8. No, 3. Giant type again. 4. Hobgoblins again. Is it their lair? 77, no. How many are there? Ooh, okay. 80, so that's 40%. So now we only have a 30% chance to avoid them without having to go in a random direction. Oh, 25. We avoid them. Whew. Okay, good. We needed that. Okay, now this is basically our last day. We're going to, if we don't get to where we're going, which I don't think we quite will, then we're going to not be run out of food, which I'll deal with in a second. All right, so I'm going to roll to see if we're lost, because that's important. On a path with a 4, we're not lost. We have 3 movement points. 4, rather. So, so actually we're good. 1, 2, 3. And actually we're going to stop there because we want to hunt. So as long as I don't roll a 6 for an encounter. Okay, well, I didn't. I can now, that's going to use up that ration. And that's 5 more days. So now we're basically at 15. Now we have to rest. This is a resting day. We're going to hunt for the first day. So that's basically 1 day's rations. We'll say that they can survive. There's 8 of them. That's basically 1 short of that. And the second day, same thing. So basically they got 2 more days rations, which should get them home if they don't have a problem today. Let's roll for an encounter. Oh gosh, is that an encounter? No, I think the high number is an encounter in the plains. Yeah, okay, no encounter. All right, this is it. We literally can be off the board in 2 days if we do not have a problem. So, first day, do we get lost? No. It's going to be in the plains. Do we have an encounter? No. 1, 2, 3. Last day. They have all this treasure. They just want to get home. Do we get lost? No. And I'm off the board, so they can't be an encounter. 1, 2, boom, off the board. Okay. So if I did that right, which I'm pretty sure I did, it took us 16 days to get home. We left on June 6th. On the 22nd of June, the foxes arrive home. I'm going to actually say, because they traveled for 16 days, that there's no way in heck they were carrying that body all that time, because it would be quite decayed, right? So we're going to say at some point when they weren't lost and weren't being chased that they buried it. They buried their body. So they lost a friend, unfortunately, a new adventuring friend, but they walked out of this thing with a lot of experience points for the orcs, because remember, OD&D goes a decent amount for combat at low levels, and a total of a little over 7,000. Let me quickly add it up. That's 4, 6, 7, 7,800 gold pieces, which isn't quite 1,000 gold pieces a piece. And I think they will give it a fair share to the Lost Companion because they did so well. So, and remember, of course, they only get half of that. So I think what we're going to do is divide that total. Once they get their half, they're going to divide that out and give a good funeral to their friend, even though they won't be there. Maybe they won't use all the money, but they'll definitely use some money for that. I think that's only cool. And they're going to have to figure out if they want to go back or not. I think they do. There's a lot more treasure there. They only looted about half of it. And they did really well, all things considered, with some horses and possibly a few more missile weapons and maybe the same plan. I think they could do pretty well. So the foxes are home on about June 22nd. So they'll be going back out into the field again, probably at the end of July. Thanks for watching. If you've been enjoying these solo actual plays, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, all the good YouTube stuff. Also, check the description below. You'll find links to all the different games I'm using and tools to produce the actual play, as well as a link to my Discord server and my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. I'll talk to you soon.